Alright, what is up, team? I hope everyone is doing well. We're back. We got some console Overwatch, but a little bit different this time. Alright, we're not doing GM gameplay. We're gonna be doing some review of some bronze gameplay. My good friend Cola is nice enough to submit a game, and we're gonna see if we can give him some tips to climb out of bronze. He's going to be playing tank in this one, mostly Orisa. So before we get into it, this was actually a pretty long game. Right, it was about a 20-25 minute game, full capped both teams on Havana. We could go through this whole game, right, and sort of nitpick everything. Like you should have been at this spot at this time. You should have done X, Y, Z for this specific scenario, but I'm not sure that's too helpful. We're in bronze. We want to be building up on some healthy habits, good habits, just based on the fundamentals. So I think we're just going to talk about a couple things today and just go through one half, because we're going to be repeating sort of the same things each time we see them, and hopefully for next time our friend here is going to be able to use those and build off those in every match that he can, and then rank up from there. And as we keep going, we'll add other things to that. But we're just going to focus on a couple things this time. So what are we going to focus on? The first thing we're going to look at and we're going to talk about is who we're shooting at. That's number one. And the second thing we're going to talk about is when we're using our cooldowns, or pressing our buttons, I like to say. So why are we doing that? So if you've seen a couple of my other videos, the main thing of tank specifically is that you want to be taking space for your team. And what that means is you trade your resources, your damage, your cooldowns, your health, for the enemy's space, so you can get in there and then push the objective and win. So for that first thing, who we're shooting at, right? We can't take space if we're shooting at something that's not going to die. Right? Our health is our most important resource, because if it's all gone, then you can't take any space at all, because you're going to spawn. So we don't want to be shooting something like a tank that's just not going to die and is going to have infinite space on us if we just keep blasting into it. And then the other thing, when we're using our cooldowns, obviously that's super important. That's our main resource, one of our other main resources that allows us to take space. Yeah. So we could talk about like what each cooldown's used for specifically for Orisa, but I don't even think we need to get that deep into it. We just need to say we want cooldowns available. We want to have buttons to press for when things happen, and when the enemy tries to take our space or we want to take their space, so that we can utilize it and we can win the game. So takeaways from this are going to be, we're going to just look at who we're shooting at for each fight, and just when we're using our cooldowns. So we want to have cooldowns, especially on Orisa, there's 3 different buttons you can press. We want to have a button up at all times, pretty much. Is what we're gonna end this with.
Hello. Thanks.
But you'll see also, bronze is not some crazy wasteland like everyone. People know how to shoot. People know how to. The mechanics are not too terrible. People play as a team. They're trying to win. They're trying to do what they're supposed to do. So I think we just build up on a couple of these things. We'll be able to pop off in future games. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so like we said, we're on Havana here. We're playing Orisa, and we're gonna really harp on just a couple things, and then we'll see what we can improve from there. So we're starting out. We're coming outdoors. We see a guy. We're shooting at this guy. Good start. You'll see. I watched this before for you. So there's our first example, right? We pressed a button. We pressed 2 buttons. We pressed 3 buttons even. There's our third button. And sort of, nothing sort of happened, right? They didn't take damage. We didn't walk forward. We weren't able to take their space. And here's the number 2 thing. Who are we shooting at right now? We're shooting at the tank, right? So thankfully our DPS here, they went and killed the entire back line, which is what we should be doing, in theory. I know it's really tempting to shoot at the big blue rectangle, or the fat hitbox. Let's see, look, that guy got absolutely pooped on. See what I'm talking about? Like, mechanics are not as big of an issue as they may not be. It's more of these couple things. Same deal here. We're shooting at this guy. Like, where does this get us? He's getting double pocketed. He's not gonna die. He's just gonna have infinite resources in space. We saw the BAP and the Mercy sort of sitting right next to him. So if we had went ahead and shot at those guys, we probably could have cleaned this fight up a little bit quicker. But see, there we go. We sort of go for it. We're shooting the tank, and we finally realize, yeah, there's a Mercy, and then we kill this guy. And now this guy doesn't have the resources to get healed, so the tank can die, which he does. And then about those buttons, we pressed our buttons and sort of nothing happened, right? And we have 3 buttons that are on, 2 of them are on a pretty long cooldown, one's on a decent sized cooldown. But if we don't have buttons to press, and they start coming at us, we're not going to have anything to defend ourselves. So, this goes for any tank, pretty much. Save your buttons until you need them, you know? If you're Orisa, if you're about to die, and you're in the enemy's face, like you walk in there, then, you know, you can press a button. You can press LB, or whatever button it is. Go gold. See this? And you won't die. But see, that there was a really good use of a button. You saw that. He used the spin to push the tank into his team. All the use was interesting here. But that's a really good tech for Orisa. Not necessarily needed to know, but it's a good thing to do to create space. Interesting use of ult. We definitely probably could have done something different there, but we're still getting the hang of it. But we're cleaning up here. We're doing a good job. We're still pushing here. We're doing a great job. Team's kind of popping off. But there's just a couple things that we would have won this so much faster, right? If we're, as a tank, just focusing on a couple things for now. Just those 2 things. That's all you got to do, I think, at this time. And then as that becomes a habit, we'll obviously add to that. But, you know, for the time being, it'll be pretty good. So here, you know, we're hanging out. We could probably walk up here. Like, that's one thing you could nitpick. Like, we could be a little bit forward. But even then, we're not to get into it. They're not shooting at us, so we're pushing cart. Not a big deal. They're coming around the corner here. We're shooting the guys we can shoot at. Obviously, there's only one guy to shoot at. Shoot him. Right now, we're kind of just spamming too, which can also be fine. We're just doing some poke damage, still some ult charge before the fight. There we go again. We used our button, but we were at full health. And that button must live longer. So if we're at full health, we kind of don't need to use it. Guys coming in. We used a bunch of buttons. And again, what are we doing? We're shooting at the big hitbox again. There's the guy that we're shooting at. But we could have put a bunch of those shots into someone sitting behind him. We could have done more damage to somebody who actually could have. Big nano. That time, if you get nano, it's fine to shoot the guy with the big hitbox. It's a good ult. Probably could have held that a little bit more. Probably would have killed a guy. There's a good button. So that was a good button. We were about to die, so we used our LB button, which is nice because we were in their space, you see. So we want to trade our resources for their space. You guys get it. You see what's going on. Turret, nice. They use a bunch of buttons. We had a bunch of buttons up that time. I think we just did a little brain fart there. We probably could have used some buttons there and we pressed the spinny or the gold, or both at that time. They used a bunch of cooldowns, so sometimes it's worth using both of yours. We're coming back, shooting around. They have a pick, it's fine. They use an ult, don't want to deal with that, want nothing to do with that. Dead on my face. Mercy's going after it, nice. Spear. See, the mechanics are fine. Like, it's not a huge deal. Unless it's like, you know, totally abysmal. Like, you're gonna be totally fine. On tank especially. Your mechanics aren't, you know, super ideal. And we're shooting at this guy, that's fine, it's the only guy we can see. Nice. That was a big kill. And, you know, if the healers were pocketing him a little bit more, it probably would have been tougher. But our team's going into. Gotta get the res. So we want to be shooting at people. We're doing that. We're backed up a little bit. Get some torch stuff our way. We're still shooting, that's good. We're aiming, we're doing some damage. Had to walk forward, I like it. You know, they're all here. So the turret, spear the turret, nice, big plays. That was a good button. We saw the spin up too. Let's see, we were full health again, right there. We used our spin, but we were full health, so it didn't really do anything. We didn't get in their space with it. No, we didn't do anything. Good ult. So I held that a little bit longer again, you get nanoed. You could steer. That guy's flying around. That guy's hard to hit, but you got him. See, we got him. Popping off. Then these are just cleanup. So yeah, like I said, we could go through this whole game, but at the end of the day, I think if those two things were hard on this, to summarize, is a really close game. The other team full caps, and then we got held and we lost. Really close game in overtime. But I think, again, I don't think it's going to be super helpful if we nitpick everything and try to find each scenario where we could have done something better. Instead, let's build on some fundamentals and check out what's going on, and then practice those, and then come back. Because I think if those two things were focused on more in this game, the game would have been won. Wouldn't have lost. Yeah. So, plan is we're gonna send this to our friend. He's gonna take it, gonna try and use it, and then we'll come back and see if he improves. So, per usual, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, see you guys next time.